lifestyle. Eat whatever, drink whatever, do whatever you like. This is the way they live their life, right? So it's because for one reason or the other, they either believe that there is nothing after this world. So if there's nothing after this world and the only thing is the available world, and pleasure seems to be the only reasonable thing, so let them engross themselves in this pleasure. Like so, the right and wrong for some people is so fluid and dependent on their subjective whim. So if something is in line with their pleasure, it's good. If it has variance with their pleasure, it is bad. So for Muslims, you have a defined ethical framework, a sort of a moral map of what is right and what is wrong. And this is determined by your belief system. So it must be in accordance with the Sunnah. So anybody you want to bring close to you, anybody you want to make a close friend, should be somebody who is upon the Sunnah, right, in his belief system. And must also fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because at times there's a disparity between the person's belief system and in the actions a person carries out. I think I mentioned also that the belief system will still have an effect. But like and take for instance, if it's possible to have a business relationship with a Muslim who is upon the Sunnah, and then he swindles you. It's possible. But if this individual did not have this belief system, chances are he will do something worse. Maybe get a hired killer and assassin to take you off the any sort of um problem that he may have from the swindling that he has done. So it's essential that this person is also pious in his actions. When yakuna akilan, fasuhbatul ahmak bala. Ibn Juzay says that then also make sure that the person you are dealing with is intelligent. Suhbatul ahmak bala. To be friends with somebody who is an idiot, it's definitely a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's going to put you in a lot of conflicts. You will not know when to talk, what to say, what not to say. And it becomes a problem for anybody who he or she is close with. I think that was where we stopped. But anyway, even if that was not where we stopped, we'll continue. وأن يكون حسن الخلق. Okay, I think I mentioned this. فإذا كان سيء الخلق لم تؤمن عداوته وتختبره بأن تغضبه فإن غضب فاترك صحبته أن يكون حسن الخلق. That the person you want to relate with is somebody who has good character. Because if he has bad character, you yourself will not be safe from his evil. There are people, maybe because of their environment or because of their upbringing, whose character is very terrible. We are friends, we sit down together, we have small talk, we discuss business, we discuss life, we discuss everything. Immediately you stand up and you are no longer there. You become the subject of discussion. Right? Immediately you leave. You stand up, you are no longer present with them. You become the subject of discussion. Backbiting. Um, think of it. You find it present in individuals like this. And then Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, commenting on the hadith, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ, was saying that at times people perfect the relationship with Allah in perfecting the relationship with others. And I try to define what husnul khulq is, right? It is kaful adha wa ihtimal adha wa badul ma'ruf. Kaful adha, don't harm people. Wa ihtimal adha, be forbearing, be patient when people deal with you. Wa badul ma'ruf, and then be generous in words and in action. So if somebody has a bad character, right, all of these things that the Sharia has itemized and talked about, one should avoid such person, because of course you'll be one of those people who would suffer from this person's character. There are people who will relate with you, you will share personal details with, and then the next thing they're outside there, right? Somebody says it's close to you, you can't confide in that person, because as I mentioned, naturally we are social animals. We always need somebody who's close to us, somebody who won't share our it may even be things that are not that serious, And at times it may be things that are really hurting us and harming us, and we want to share with that person. And this person, immediately this person hears, shares with the next person who is available. So somebody who has a bad character is to be avoided at all times. He can't keep secrets. He's not trustworthy. He has no respect for the sanctity of friendship. And so individuals like this are better avoided. And Ibn Jose mentioned something very important here. He said, وَأَنْ تَخْتَبِرَهُ, test him by making him angry. فَإِذَا غَضِبَ فَاتْرُكْ صُحْبَتَهُ. So if you make him angry and he gets angry with you as a friend, then do not be friends with such a person. Right? Me, I won't advocate this. Naturally, we would look at the way a person handles issues that are related. If a person's anger does not make him understand the fact that we have. Sorry, please. Now, I hope I'm audible again. A call came in and cut me off. If a person, out of anger, forgets all the good times we've shared, such a person is not worthy of being a close friend. Such a person is not worthy of being close friend. And because we're talking about relationship, this also comes out to play even when it comes to marital issues. If there is a problem, however serious it may be, and then this problem prompts either of the spouses to forget the fact that they shared a lot of good things in the past. Whatever problems we have, right, should not make us forget the fact that we've got good times. There are people that, okay, yes, we have a problem now. What we've shared with each other in the past becomes a consumption for the public because you just want to make sure that I am no longer relevant. Individuals like this should be avoided like the plague, right? And then of course it's only if so you don't need to make him angry. You just need to see how he reacts when he gets angry. Of course, I mean, naturally we are humans. We are not robots that you control our emotion. There's a dial for get angry, reduce your anger, and things like that. There's no such dial. We are humans. There are times that we'll get angry. But how do we react when we are angry? That is the issue. If a person's reaction when he's angered is to destroy every good thing we've shared in the past, forget the fact that, look, even if I'm wronging you now, the entirety of our relationship had been good. Such a person is not supposed to be held in in any close relationship. And at times we are so naive. We would see somebody who has spent 10 years with somebody as a friend, they have a falling out, and then it comes close to us. Probably because the person is not having issues with is a shared enemy, right? Then ordinarily, of course, we will get burnt the same way he burnt this individual. So the person that we want to deal with must have good character. Ibn Juzay goes on, وأن يكون سليم الصدر وأن يكون سليم الصدر في الحضور والغيبة في الحضور والغيبة, that this person should also have a free heart, whether you are present or whether you are absent. The person should not be one that your absence would make him turn an enemy into you. It slides on to, or this slides into that issue of being, of having good character. All right. So the person that I want to do it with Salim al-Sadr في الحضور والغيبة, right? لا حقودا ولا حسودا ولا مريدا للشر ولا ذا وجهين. So, the person that you want to deal with should not be somebody who hates passionately, should not be somebody who envies, right? Wala muridan lishar, who wants evil for you. Wala da wajhaini, and it's not somebody who's two-faced. He tells you this here, he tells you this there. At times, when people interact with friends who are very blunt, who tell them, I know this is wrong, right? And I don't, you're very wrong on this particular thing you've done, and then I am blaming you because naturally we don't like things that are critical, right? We try to withdraw from that person because the person is criticizing us. We want people who will tell us what we want to hear, and this is how sycophancy starts. where people just want to hear what is good. It is that person who can look us in the eye and tell us the blunt truth. That's the person that we are supposed to even move closer to. It is not the person that tells us while we are there, mashallah, that is the best you could do. I mean, that was exactly what you ought to do. And when we are no longer there, it tells others that no, don't mind him. Yeah, right. This reflects, we talked about the different categories of friends, that friends with benefits, right? And never identify. It's just mutual benefits shared amongst us. So for people like this, right, we are not supposed to make them close. You can easily see in the way they deal with others. If somebody relates with you and there's nothing it comes around to discuss except what others have done for him or with him, what others have shared for him or with him, individuals like this should not be moved close with. And then from a sort of more personal angle, right? In the for students of knowledge, preachers, imams, those sort of people, and then oftentimes the basis of our relationship is our shared um masa the issues that we agree on, right? And over time, some of us would tend to forget the fact that this relationship is based on this shared issue. It is not any deep friendship. It's not any deep relationship. The moment you differ on this issue, some lack the basic manners of knowing that yes, we should still respect this person's honor and sanctity. The moment you differ with them on this particular issue, then you become what you call personal non grata, or what's it called. So even student of knowledge, these things are important. If somebody sits with you, he criticizes this sheikh that he is not good in qira'ah. When he sees the person who is good, who has memorized the Quran, he quotes the hadith akthar munafiqi ummati qira'uha. The majority of the hypocrites of this ummah will be the memorizers, the reciters of the Quran. When he hears that somebody has memorized a lot of hadith, says that no, he only knows hadith, he does not know usul. When he hears that somebody is good in usul, no, he does not know akidah. A person who is close to you, who finds fault with every other da'iyah, every other preacher, every other caller, is not supposed to be close to you. You are not supposed to be close to him. You might be acquaintances. No matter, okay, we meet in the mosque, we meet our programs. For the class, it should not go beyond that level, because the same way he badmouths others, your turn will come. Same way badmouths others, your turn will come. So it is these are at times people would have the knowledge, but do not internalize them. Right? It's human failure. The knowledge is there, but internalizing it to the point that you sit down and look at your actions and question yourself, is this right? Is this right? Some do not do it. So you don't want to be friends with somebody who is going to envy you, who wants evil for you, and who is two-faced. The moment you realize it's two-faced, you have to regulate what you discuss with him and how you discuss with him. May Allah SWT protect us. No worry, that can work out right. If Jose goes on, أن يكون الثابت العهد غير ملول ولا متلون. It should be somebody who, when he gives you his word or our word, it will not change. He is not chameleonic. Today he's saying this, tomorrow he's saying the other thing. Yani, لا يوجد عنده عزم. He has no firmness. Individuals like this are unprincipled, and unprincipled people are a danger to people close to them, as they are a danger to themselves. So people who should be close friends with are people who are firm in their resolve. وأن يقوم بحقوقك كما تقوم بحقوقه فلا خير في صحبة من لن يرى لك من الحق مثل الذي ترى له. الله يرحمك يا ابن جزي. It says that the person you are to be close with, to take as a friend, أن يقوم بحقوقك, should fulfill his responsibilities towards you the same way you fulfill your responsibility towards him, right? It makes no sense for you for your close friendship to be a one-sided thing. right? You are the one making all the efforts. You want to be close to this person. There's some of these things that would play easily out also in marriages, right? It's supposed to be a mutual thing. You're supposed to look out for each other. It's not supposed to be a one-sided thing, whereby somebody's doing all the work, seeking all the affection, and then the other person is not interested or takes you for granted, right? In friendship, you look out for these things. If somebody's only interested in you because of the benefit he gets, then you should not open up your heart to the point that you are feeling that he is a close friend. Are, just hold him as a friend for benefit, right? Because if you think that it is above that, then you get seriously disappointed. But if you understand the fact that, okay, this is the only reason this person is dealing with me, is from the benefit he gets from me, not that he wants to do anything to benefit me, then it's easier. That benefit you give it without feeling any hassle, right? But if you are the only one expending effort and you're expecting effort from him, then you would have a lot of things to cope with as the emotional health will come one day. So these are the 7 things Jose talks about. And then he goes forward and said, that when you talk about having friends, you should not forget, we're talking about al-khulla. So those muttaqun that Allah says that they will be successful in Qiyamah, that they will not be enemies, what are the rights that they share between each other? Al-musharakatu, and started mentioning them. Al-musharakatu fil mal. حتى لا يختص أحدهما بشيء دون الآخر. So it's difficult in our economy and in world economy. That a friend who has money should not um be should not should share. Yes, I think that's another one. Should be able to share even as well. Um, I when I was when I get engaged in this contemporary Islamic finance stuff, one thing I first realized is that there's a difference in which the way our world operates financially and the way the world operated financially at the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? And then lo and behold, one of these probably more senior brothers in Islamic finance, Dr. Faraz Adam, wrote a book about finance at the time of the Prophet, right? At the time of the Prophet, loans weren't given with an expectation of profit. And that is why it is called Qardul Hasan. Qardul al-Hasan. Al-Qardul Hasan. Now, the entire world runs on riba. The entire world economy runs on riba, right? So the Islamic economy ordinarily is supposed to be slower. And there's a lot of problems with the fact that this is the riba run world economy, because oftentimes you don't need to even have physical possession of cash. What you have is numbers in your bank account, right? I was listening to somebody and he said it's 3% of what economy is what is actually money. All the rest, physical money, all the rest are numbers on your systems. Going back to the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the thing that people did most was called Al-Asfar. This brother needs an investment. He wants to run a particular business. And I have this money. People have this money, for God's sake. And then I don't need it. So the fact of the matter is that irrespective of how bad the economy is, there are going to be people who would have, fact of life, in any economy, irrespective of how bad the economy is, some would always have. Sunatullah Mahdiya. I have this money. I do not need it. And this brother needs it for 6 months, for 1 year. It is very difficult to give out. And then people say, okay, what about trustworthiness? It's part and parcel of contemporary economy, because just as the giver has a problem of not being of not being generous. And you find the Quran saying that فَمَنْ يُحْكَ عَنْ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Those who are saved from the stinginess of their soul, those are the ones who are successful. Right? It is part of stinginess for one to have that money called the Hassan that you can offer to a person to run a business and against his business give you back the money. Right? So those who have that problem. right? And those who do not have the problem of amana, فَلْيُؤَدِّ الَّذِي اؤْتُمِنَ أَمَانَتَهُ وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ رَبَّهُ. The one who is put in the place of amana also is supposed to respect his amana. We find this lacking. So you find this on this side, you find this on the other side. Some say, look, why don't you find it easy to give out loans? They tell that, look, man, I've done this, I've done that, people have stolen my money, even for businesses. So at times when you come out, Islam has these beautiful structures, right? In our social life, in our financial life, structures that are very firm, that are beneficial, right? But the Muslims are not there. Imagine if Muslims were given Qawla Hassan, right? To even people who are non-Muslims, and they'll get their money back. Just imagine a lot of people who said that masquerade was chasing them, and then they went to church, and then that was where the problem was solved. It wasn't any masquerade; it was poverty, right? Just poverty. May Allah SWT protect us. So Ibn Juzay is saying that al-musharakatu fil mali hatta la yakhassu ahaduhuma bishay'in duna al-akhar. Right? It is very difficult, but at least we can do a little bit. What motivates me to give at times, even with the fact that I don't have, is the fact that I realize that at times what I have, what I on my table with my family, what we eat for breakfast, right, will be sufficient for some people to live in a week, right? And some of that's me, miskin, right? There are some of us that on our table in the morning, what you have on our table that we eat for breakfast would be sufficient for some people to feed in a month. If you think about it this way, it becomes easier for us to give to people, right? There was a man once in our mosque, and he had this injury on his right hand, and we tried to get money for him. Ultimately, we did not get any money. He was supposed to treat the arm. Ultimately, we didn't get the money, and the hand had to be amputated. When I saw him and asked, what I said, when my life was going to go, the doctors had no other thing than to cut off the hand. And the money that this person will need, I forgot the amount at that time, right? Maybe something that, I mean, for some of us, chicken chicken. There are people who I did a campaign. I've done two in one recently. I shared it on a Clear Path platform. Then another some months ago, a woman was going to get pregnant. They had nothing. Who was going to give birth, not get pregnant. They had nothing. Mom said, why did they get pregnant? But yes, why? But they are pregnant now. And then she needs surgery. So you have to go around crowdfund for these things. Unfortunately, for some of these things, crowdfunding has really come to the aid of people, right? But Muslims, we still need to do more as regards our generosity. Islam is a religion of spending. Islam is a religion of spending. الذين في أموالهم حق معلوم في أموالهم أي حق. You look at the way Allah put it. وما أصدق من الله قيلا وما أصدق من الله حديثا. الذين في أموالهم, in their money, in their wealth, in the wealth of Muslims, حق معلوم. There is a right for some people. And what are those rights? Who are those with those rights? السائل والمحروم. Those who would ask and those who are destitute, who are poor. Now, and in this case, we're even talking about our friends. Somebody we know is problem, we know what is experiencing, and yet to be difficult for us to assist. Allah understand. الرعانة بالنفس بقضاء الحاجات وتقديم حاجته على حاجتك, and to assist as much as possible when he's needy of our help, and even placing his need above our need. This was what Prophet did in Mecca when the Muhajirun came to Mecca and the Ansar took them in. والذين تبوأوا الدار والإيمان من قبلهم يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة. يؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة. This is where I feel Ibn Juzay derives this issue. It was, we can have individual people who would have the level of piety of companions. Is a possibility. But that group of people that displayed this um, behavior would never be found on earth again. Individuals may come up who are piety, who are aspire, who have the piety. Individuals may come around who may be very generous, but a group of people of this number that would be on this pedestal of behavior will never be found in this ummah again. That was the way they were. يؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة. So one would assist. I don't know if I mentioned it the last time, but I'll be sharing those experiences. For some of us who do that, you go to a place, you get called. Okay, we want to do in the car. Fine, in the car. You go there, they may give you honorarium, they may not give you, depending on how related you are. Somebody dies, you have to go there, you have to the washing, everything, you have to do this. And you have a problem. You need a lawyer, you need a piece of furniture, you and then you realize that people all these things you are doing, right? And this goes for people who are just coming up in that all the things you are doing just out of the back of your mind, are doing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you have problems, it doesn't mean people will feel that, oh, that guy has been far for a while. And so let's assist him. No. Have I experienced whereby I needed legal assistance? Person collected, no, he not collected his money. He stopped picking my call. He stopped picking my call because he felt like, no, this guy is not going to pay. I was just needed advice from him on this. That is the way people are. This is the way people are. I wanted to get an apartment for somebody, and I called one of the brothers who was an agent several years ago, and I realized that he was very, very concerned about its share of the rent. And this was somebody that ordinarily, if you called me that I've given birth, 5 kobo, you will not give before I go there. So you begin to realize that no, people relate with you on the fact that well, we are benefiting from your knowledge. It doesn't mean that when you need the services, you will not pay up. والرابع أو الثالث الموافقة له على أقواله ومساعدته له على أغراضه من غير مخالفة ولا منازعة المخالفة فإن المخالفة توجب البغضاء. To agree with him on whatever he does in as much as it's not against the Sharia. In as much as it is not against the Sharia. If it's against the Sharia, لا موافقة. And we let them know, no, I don't agree with you on this. Relationship should not be based on the fact that we agree with you even if it has variance with the Sharia. In fact, if that happens, that verse I started will apply. And the fourth one, to forgive errors, to forgive people their errors. Because naturally, a poet said, in Tirid Sadiq la aiba fihi. How does this line go? Al-Ud yafuhu bila dukhan. I think that's that. I forgot it. So you want a friend that has no faults. Does incense burn without there being smoke? Something like that. So the same way you can't have incense without smoke. The same way you cannot have a friend that will not have faults. You'll be able to overlook those faults. When Nasiyatullah fil dinihi wa dunyahu, and to give people sound advice as regards their religion and their dunya, their deen and their dunya. At times, some of our friends will tell us on the basis that we agree with them in everything they say. And when they realize that no, we've got independent opinion on this issue, it becomes a problem. Right. There are a lot of issues that outside there. People would think that, oh, these people have been falling out because of so and so. No, there are more sinister issues. At times you are friends with somebody, and then an issue comes up and you tell them, no, I don't agree with you on this stance that you're taking. And you become an enemy. So such were the times I said it. There was no friendship ab initio. If a person wants you to agree with you, it wants you to agree with him in everything he does or says. If you dunyahu then he's not a friend. He's not a friend. We are supposed to be able to look ourselves in the eyes and tell ourselves the blunt truth. right? So a friendship that does not allow us to be truthful to one another is not true friendship. It's not. So also, um, we should be sincere in our love for this person. الخلوص في مودته ظاهرا وباطنا حاضرا غائبا والانتصار له في غيبته. And then the love we profess for our friends should be sincere, whether it's there, whether it's not there, whether it's available, it's not available. It is not something that we say on the lips. Some of these things you will not find it amongst politicians because ordinarily, what's really what um, binds them to one another is simply the benefits of positions. I was talking. This same topic is the subject of discussion in my mosque, and I mentioned the fact that one of those friendships that one of those political alliances or political friendship that you would think would not collapse is the Arebeshola Ashiwaju friendship. Right? So something that went years, very close, and it collapsed because it wasn't based on the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just based on the benefit that I can get from one another. Allah understand. And the last one, du'a'ulahu bi and to pray for this individual when he is absent. Right. This is one of the uh, things we should do for people who we feel are friends. When they are no longer there, we pray for them. When they are absent, it's on the journey, we are not together, we remember to pray for them. What about when the person is dead? Right. And I even think that one of the things that we should teach our children is to pray for our dead because um, I think one of my kids was asking me that, look, after, no, not one of my kids, somebody asked me the question, said, um, one of the good things that a person will benefit after his death is waladun salih yad'u lahu, a pious son who prays for him. So the person asks, if that pious son dies, who will be praying for him? If he dies and his own children cannot pray for their father or their father's father, it ends. Right? Life is very funny. And we tend to over exaggerate our existence in it. Our grandchildren may scarcely remember us. So that's one. Number two, it also sort of exposed to me the fact that those fathers who practiced their Islam had uh, some very good things they do. When they sit down and want to pray, or there's an event they want to pray, like take for Juma, Juma khutbah, anything like that would make them pray, they would remember everybody, including their dead. They will remember their fathers, their fathers' fathers, their families who died as Muslims. They will remember them. Love also our young brothers after our Adkar Sabah in Adkar Masa, Shikir. We don't remember dead Muslims, right? We don't remember our own father. So much so that because you don't remember your own father, your son will not remember, your grandson also will not remember you when you are dead. Because sometimes it's supposed to be a tradition that he sees you praying for your father, he picks it up, prays for his own father. His child sees it up, prays also for the grandfather, right? That is how it's supposed to be a chain. But we miss all of this, right? There are things that we look at in the Islam of our fathers and feel that these things are not proper, right? And rectify those things. But the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of good things in their Islam. One of them is dua, right? I'm not saying organize special dua. I mean, with those opportunities that the Sharia gives us to pray, right? In my mosque, I've lost people. There was a particular man, I was just told that he died. He stepped on a nail or something, very small thing, stepped on a nail or something, and then it became infected. They took him to hospital and he died. In each of our prayer places, you would remember that there were people who used to pray together in Rome, right? There were people who would call us, the look, Ramadan is approaching. When they started morning, they are no longer with us. They are friends that we used to share moments of happiness with, right? They are no longer with us. They are acquaintances that we know. They are no longer with us. How often do we remember them in prayer? Some of us have parents that we don't even remember in prayer. Some have relatives that we don't even remember in prayer. Some of us have people who brought Islam into our family, we don't remember them in prayer. Right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our shortcomings. That verse that talked about the Muhajirun, I think in Surah Al-Hashr, the verse that follows it, Allah says, الذين جاءوا من بعضهم يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا. Oh, Allah forgive us and forgive our brothers who have preceded us in the faith. Right? It's part of the sunnah of the deen to pray for those who have preceded us. May Allah forgive our dead, give us a firm understanding of the deen. No wali dhalika wal qadr. Would pause here. This was supposed to be a conclusion of what we started last week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve us till the next tefkira. I think the next tefkira is going to be the offside physical tefkira at Federal Palace, if I'm not mistaken. So may Allah preserve us till then and beyond. Inna wali dhalika wal qadr. I will pause and take questions. If there are none, we will call it a day to prepare for Salatul Dhuhr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah. Okay. In the absence of any other question, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.